the Prison City Podcast. When the bars go up, you're officially locked in.
Welcome to the Prison City Podcast. I'm your unofficial host, Patrick W. Cutler, and we have a freaking great show here today for you guys. We're going to talk about the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, where that has gone. We've gotten a pretty good discussion about that a couple episodes ago, and it's been really interesting to watch the whole thing unfold since then. Beyond that, we got some Das Froot, our improv group is up and going and touring, and we got some updates for Cutler Brothers Theater here at our theater. I am live here, as always, from the box office connected to Cutler Brothers Theater, and I can look outside right now on downtown Deer Lodge, and it is fucking just covered in snow right now. It's been snowing pretty good for like an hour or so, and then it kind of stopped. But we got our first real good dump of snow here in Deer Lodge, Montana, so that's looking great here. And let's just jump around the panel here right now. We're gonna bring back a special guest, Felde. He'll have something to say here in a little bit. Let's first go out to just outside Omaha, Nebraska, Mahomes.
Hey, great to be here. I got to tell you, I'm jealous of the snow down here. You know, there's nothing down here like that. But gosh, good to be back. And Pat, I got to say, we're at the point where I think we can probably make you the official host. I think the unofficial stuff can go out the window. But excited to be back. Probably not going to have a whole lot of input on the trial because I've kind of not paid any attention to it whatsoever, but I'll certainly be around while that's going on.
All right. And Kelly, you watched some of the trial, right?
Yeah. And I wanted to audition for the role of host, but I guess fuck me, huh, Mahoney? Yeah, I watched the trial. I seriously, I think I've stated on this podcast that I have tried to stay away from politics and everything since last year's election. I haven't watched too many congressional hearings and stuff because usually they'll just suck you in and, 10 minutes will turn into hours or days. And that's kind of what's happened with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. Our oldest brother, Albert, was talking about it. And I was just like, okay. And I saw something on YouTube. So I kind of just clicked on it. It was part of the hearings. And I think I'm like part lawyer. Like, I think I should have been a lawyer in another world or whatever, because as soon as I started listening to those arguments, I just got sucked in. I was like, oh, fuck. And then now I've watched hours and hours of it. So, I have plenty to speak on there. And yeah, it is. It was highly entertaining, highly interesting. So excited to talk about that.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic here. And then we also have a reoccurring special guest, Jace Felde, and he's going to bring on some stories of some lady type stories about fucking girls or whatever. I don't know. Why are you on here again, Felde?
Well, I was wondering that myself, and then I realized, Matt's gone, so you had to have somebody fill his spot.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I'm here, but that's okay. I'm happy.
Yeah, Matt flew out to New York this week and did a lot of cool things. Matt and his fiance, Kai, they're big into horror films, just like all of us are, and they actually go on these trips to these locations and scout out a location where horror films were shot. Last year, they went to Texas and went to the actual place where Texas Chainsaw Massacre was filmed at. And this year, they went out to New York just to go out to places like where the Blair Witch was filmed at. I think People Under the Stairs is one of the houses they went to, Amityville Horror. I mean, they checked out all this shit out there in the Northeast related to horror films. So they had a lot of fun out there, and he's on his way back tonight. He said he might be able to check in when they're driving home, but I don't expect that to happen. But yeah, so right before in our pre-show, Kelly was asking me where our numbers are, like for our actual numbers for the Prison City podcast. And I just wanted to do just a comparison of where we've come from and where we are right now, because I look at the numbers all the time. And it's just like, it doesn't seem like it's improving that much all the time, but you look at the numbers and they kind of don't tell that story. So here is the first 90 days of the Prison City podcast. So you see, we started February 22nd must have been our first episode. And that's the first 90 days. We had 32 downloads through all the different platforms. 32 total downloads for the Prison City podcast in the first 90 days of our existence back in late February. Now let's fast forward and let's look at the last 90 days currently. So we went from 37 in that graphic to Now we're averaging 373 downloads every
Holy
90
shit.
days.
Wow.
So
I'm going to be honest with you. I thought you were going to show it. It was going to be like 31 down.
I did not expect that. I was just about ready to quit when I found out I wasn't the official host. Just keep bringing that back.
So the Jace Felde, Mike Lindell episode that was, you could call our viral episode, I guess, so far. that one was actually on August 9th. So this does not include that one, which is big because that one had like 184 downloads itself. And then the next one after that is, did the moon landing happen? Two episodes down was the moon landing fake? Next episode is do we need to do another one on the moon landing? It keeps ranking. It's ranked two of the top 4 are the moon landing.
These are the kind of stats I don't want to see.
Mike Lindell all the way, baby.
So you go Mike Lindell, the moon landing, then you do online escorts and sex scams online. Right, I outline a prostitute scam I got into that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a good one.
God,
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I've never seen these stats. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and then Amazon Echo is the highest downloaded app to be able to get it from, which is kind of interesting. But yeah.
Hey, will you correct me if I'm wrong though? Was I not in all 3 of those top 3?
Were you in the online escorts one?
Yes.
Yeah, you were in that, weren't you?
Yeah.
Mahomes couldn't make it to that one. Geez, you might have been in the moon landing one too. I don't know.
So you're welcome for all your downloads.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Turns out you're the star. I'll retire. Honestly, like, I don't bring anything to
I
this.
just thought I would throw that out there.
Yeah, so Feldy's been a part of every single one of our top downloaded episodes here.
I know this isn't going to be released till tomorrow, but somehow this already ranks number 2 since Feldy's on this.
Just make sure you put my name in the title.
Hey, yeah, next week we got to do like a turkey trot type episode. Do you want to do? Yeah, next week. Should we do it on Tuesday next week? It's the night before the improv show.
Possibly. Yeah, we might have to do it because we got Home Alone, but we also might have to rehearse improv that night because we only got 2 days next week.
So this is going to bring us into our opening topic here, which is actually our DOS Froot Comedy improv team. Now, this improv team we're doing, it's really politically incorrect. If you've ever been to any type of comedy show that's not super liberal, where we're pretty political incorrect, say kind of whatever you want on stage, push boundaries. I don't think it's that crazy compared to some of the stuff I've seen, but it's a pretty fun show. We've been taking this comedy team. Comedy team's been around for a long time. We can go back all the way doing shows in one of our friends' basements, Matt Freeze's basement, years and years and years ago. Mahomes, remember those shows in the basement? Those were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was talking, and so when we did the show, so our regular improv shows we do, they have like 20, 21, 22 different types of games. But back in the day, the basement shows, it was 2 fucking games. It was the Who's Line game and it was the dating game. And we played those like over and over and over and over and over and over again. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And at first it was just Who's Line, if you remember right. Like that was all we played for a while. And then the dating game snuck in there a little bit. But yeah. We used to get together and just play write down the Who's Line game. And
this would not go for like just a 2-hour show. We're talking about like, we go like 5 or 6 hours straight.
Yeah.
And then we had a crowd, some friends we had in high school come in and watch it. And now we still have friends in high school that come watch it. Just honest, no. And it's still in our parents' basement. No. No, but back in the day, yeah, it was a lot of fun. That was where it kind of grew out of. And then over time, we kind of took it and kept taking it to the next level, and next level, and next level. And now we have, between the games we found online and the games Kelly and Matt found and everything, and the games that have been created, we have like over like 100 fucking improv games now, any show. It's just fucking nuts how many games you can pull out. So these days we craft our show we start out with a bunch of musical improv thing, and then we throw in some really one of our best hitting games, Who's Line, and then we do some more musical stuff. I mean, we have this thing, Mullins, you would fucking love. It's called Broadway Musical. And Kelly literally gets like a topic from the audience, any topic, and he starts creating a character, and someone just randomly goes out there like Zane, and they just start singing improv singing to the notes he's playing. And then another character. So we do an entire improv Broadway musical on stage, and like it ends up being like 10 or 15 minutes long. It is fucking wild.
Yeah, they're hilarious. And I never know where they're going, but it just unfolds itself. Like, Zane goes out as the dad, and then a mom shows up, and it's like, okay, now the mom sings about her feelings, and that leads down another rabbit hole. The last one, what was the one in Dillon that we just did, the night show?
The Hunchback.
Oh, yeah.
Modern day Hunchback. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the Hunchback of Notre Dame. It was our own take on it, and there was a bully, and Pat was the king and someone was the queen, and it turns out that was their son, and it just unfolded in such a weird fucking way. And Stewie had this great solo. Stewie Jewell played the Hunchback. He sang this really serious solo. It wasn't funny at all, and then at the end he goes, "That's the movie in my mind." And he just sang this really deep, sincere solo. So then right at the end of that, I was like, okay, now the Hunchback is going to do 1 minute of stand-up comedy and go. And that's the beauty of improv. You just throw the shit. I know we do it to Mahoney all the time when he does shows with us. You just throw shit at people, and it's like, they got to do it. It's fucking improv. Go. It's hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, Mounds, you'd love being in that fucking improv show we do today. It's a lot of fun. And hopefully our plan is right now we're touring Montana, but our plan is to tour the Pacific Northwest mainly starting. We're going to group together and try to start a tour by February, going across Washington, Oregon, Idaho, just kind of find locations like that. Just a second, I'm getting a message from Mike Freeze right now. I think he wants to get back on the show as we speak. Should I send him a link? No, I'm just kidding.
Saw the moon landing stats.
No, I know he probably somebody. We're not even live right now. This is a pre-recorded show. As always, he's somehow watching it. Yeah, no, I forgot to turn off the messenger, but yeah, so the tour we've done so far, it's gone really good. Holy shit, there's a cop arresting someone outside this building right in downtown Deer Lodge. It's so weird, like looking out the window, you just see the most random people walking by and shit. Had this weird creepy light on. Yeah, so we're going on tour and everything, and we're going back to Lewis and Clark Brewery in Helena this weekend, and that's going to be a really fun. They have a great venue there that we perform at, and we're doing tickets. So if anybody wants to check out our tickets, just go to DosFruit.com. We're actually just go to Facebook.com and search for Das Fruit. And we have tickets for our shows there. It's going to be a really, really good show. But this is what I really want to talk about tonight. Start everything off is
Hey, Pat, can I add one thing to the improv thing?
Sure.
Just quickly, I want to say it's kind of weird. Yesterday, I've known this for about a month. Someone asked me to speak at like a seminar for FCCLA. It was like the district meeting. It was a bunch of high school kids, and I was speaking on impromptu speaking. And it just was so weird because I talked about Das Fruit and us performing in Freeze's basement and everything. And it felt like I was giving a fucking TED talk or something, or two of them, because I did two different seminars. So, I taught them how to impromptu speak or some rules, tricks of the trade. And then all they wanted to know about was our improv and where we've been and what we've done and shit like that. I think they looked at me kind of like a little bit of a celebrity, and they knew about Das Fruit too. So that was cool. And anyways, I just want to put a plug for that. That was basically my first TED talk I've ever
done. Nice. Celebrity status. Look at you.
I got one quick question too before you move on. Where did you come up with the name Das Fruit?
We were sitting around in, I want to say like 2009, when we decided to go and do more shows regularly, at bars in town and maybe a little bit outside of town. And we were like, okay, we need a name. We need an improv name. So we were shooting around all these stupid names. We couldn't think of anything that stuck. And then Kyle Gillette, actually, I'll give him the props. He said, how about Das Fruit? And we just looked down. We're like, no, that's stupid. Then we sat there in silence for like another 10 seconds. So we're like, well, if nobody could think of anything better, then let's just fucking go with Das Fruit, because who gives a shit? We just kind of laughed about it. We didn't think it would stick. And here we are 12 years later, Das Fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like a rotating cast? I noticed the show on Dillon, there was some gal I didn't recognize in the.
What happens is we have so many shows and stuff that we need bodies. I mean, we need someone. So we have the Dillon show. Matt couldn't go because he was traveling to New York, and then we had another actor, Jim Cameron, who had back issues the day of the show, and he suddenly couldn't go. So we had her name's Sarah Ward. She's been training up with us. And we've been training with her for a couple of weeks, or probably almost a month. She's been going to practices it on and off. So she's kind of been grooving into the team. So what we're trying to do is have it so we have like 8 to 10 people that can improv, go to a show with us. So if we have 2 or 3 people that can't make it, the very least we want to go on a stage with is probably 4. We had 5 in the Dylan shows.
Yeah, and I was sick as shit too still, so
yeah, we kind of
4.5.
Yeah, we kind of limped into Dylan this past weekend, and the shows went
Still
great
got the
though.
victory,
Yeah,
though,
we still got we still got paid. That's the only thing that matters at the end of the day.
And some of us got laid. I think Stewie was nibbling on Sarah's neck in the back of the commando Jeep.
Shoot, I wonder if you have a picture of that. No, I mean, sorry, I had a picture of the DOS Froot vehicle. We have the official DOS Froot vehicle with the logo on the side. It's badass. It can fit 8 people, and that's kind of like a traveling bus to some extent. We all just hop in, and wherever the next location is, we'll drive there, and everybody can ride in the same vehicle. And as a DVD player, so we can actually review game tape from the previous show we did and watch that as we're driving. So, pretty cool vehicle. But on most of our shows, like we've done it, we haven't done a show yet in what I would deem a liberal. Well, it's hard. Butte's hard because Butte's Democrat, but it's not like liberal, like offended liberal. That's not what Butte is like. But this has to do with some Facebook comments we recently got.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where Butte came in at.
On a DOS Froot ad. I'll just give you guys a little taste of, the audience out there. Here's a little taste of one of our promos we did for the show in Deer Lodge. DOS Froot live, more offensive than ever. And yeah, we were trying to do anything we can because Deer Lodge is hard on like a random day in November to get people to go to anything. So we just tried any marketing we could to get people there, and that was our promo for Deer Lodge. Well, yeah. Now, so I do the Facebook ads, and I've done a lot with Facebook ads. And basically, when we do a show in a specific city or whatever, I run a Facebook ad with the event and some captions, maybe a video, and we target just that city. So right now we're doing a Facebook ad, and it's targeting just Missoula, and that's for the Missoula show on December 4th. And this is only like a $20 ad, and I just had it run for a week just to get some initial data on that location. Then when I run the bigger ad, like a week from now, I'll have data to go off, kind of figure out what the best ad it would work to get people to go to that Missoula show. So this is an initial test run in Missoula, Montana. It's probably, it's by far probably the most liberal town in Montana politically. So what we have here on the test ad that I ran on Facebook was a video ad that a professional video ad that we had someone come down and film and everything. It's a really good 3-minute video ad. It's really cool. But the video ad definitely pushes the anti-political correctness, unwoke type audience or whatever. So of course, targeting super liberal Missoula, we started to get some feedback. And this guy doesn't want to say what he actually means. So instead of like saying that he doesn't like our stuff or whatever, he's just going to attack our ad. And so basically we had a little bit of a discussion on Facebook of this ad that he didn't like. So in typical DOS Froot fashion, here's kind of how it went down. You can read that for yourselves right there. Here it is. This promo doesn't even remotely make me want to buy a ticket. I'm sure it's funny, and these guys are extremely talented. Was the vet video made by a first grade class? So DOS Froot responded, it was actually me. I didn't want my name on it, but I couldn't do it without this. Well, your mom was still be in first grade then. She put it together. He's like,
Classic your mom joke. Yeah.
That's a classic DOS Froot joke. And I was like, well, I know you are, but what am I? Your next attempt at a burn? So then I just did a friendly Trump like signaling or whatever. Now you said a dead GIF. Amazing. And I replied, dead like your grandma. If you provide us with some information, we'll do a standard routine on our dead corpse.
Mahoney's eyes.
Do you think that was the appropriate response there, Mount?
I'm not surprised at your response. I'll say appropriate, certainly not not like what any business people would recommend as a way to talk to a potential customer, I would say.
He already made it clear he wasn't going, so he was a potential customer.
So I guess if you're looking for a potential viral marketing response to somebody, then I would say that's that.
It's like Wendy's Burns, except a little more burny.
What'd you think of that?
I just think that it's, when you know us and stuff, at first I was like, oh fuck, like Mahoney said, like, was that the right business choice? But Das Fruit's a comedic team, and like if I was on the outside looking in at this comedic troupe that I might potentially go see, and I was reading that thread, I'd be like, the fuck?
I'd go.
It definitely would, attract my attention, and I'd probably laugh. Just when it's our thing, I'm like, is that right or not? But I guess you always got to put the shoes on the other foot and pretend like you're not part of the troupe, because this guy is somebody, and people like him. We don't want them at our show anyways. They're just going to fucking cause a ruckus and be annoying. Our clientele literally has no, just like us on Junior Buzzards or in person, we have no ceiling for where the comedy can go. There's very little that I think offends any of us.
Well, I don't know what it's kind of the same thing with people that go to like stand-up comedians or comedy shows in general to heckle. Like, well, what good is going to come of this? I guess is kind of like, you're going after a comedy troupe. I don't know what you thought good was going to happen from that.
I know.
Well, why step out of your lane like that in the first place? That's what I don't get about people. Like, why would you even step out of your lane? This looks like it was edited by a first grader. Actually, it was edited by a professional editor down in LA, jackass. It's like, what the fuck do you want to see? Like, what's the ad missing? So it can't be about the ad. Like Pat said, it's about the content of the ad.
This guy's a complete liberal asshole is what he is. And he's finding a reason to complain about what we're doing because he's offended and pissed off about what the content of the ad was, which was basically saying a bunch of the ad. You actually watch some of our ads actually are kind of offensive, the shit we say. They're pretty, they're not the worst ever, but I mean, they're definitely politically not very liberal though. They're very anti-political correctness. So the guy's deflecting and finding something else to complain about. Like that's what he's doing. And it's just kind of an asshole move. So
yeah, I mean, if we're going after the crowd that we want to hang out with and that finds us funny, I don't think, like you said, I don't think everybody is our customer when it comes to Das Fruit. Not everybody's our customer. Our customer is people that have a good sense of humor. Now, if you think we're politically incorrect, which we are, watch still Family Guy, which is on national television. Some of the jokes in Family Guy are just so fucking obscene. Even I'm biting my knuckles going, oh my God. You know what I mean? And this is on national TV. So don't talk to me about us dropping a word you don't like or something like that when that's what's out there. American Dad. There's even worse ones. I'm sure you guys have seen them. Some of these fucking shows that are coming out. What's the one about like shapes and sex and trolls or something? Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
No.
No,
Sounds
not at all.
Well, it's very obscene and it's on national TV. And I've seen a couple episodes. I'm just like, Jesus, So anyways, our customer base is who we need to focus on. And unfortunately, it's not going to be everybody. You just have to have a sense of humor,
But there's plenty of people in every big city. They're like some kind of shock jock stand-up comedians have sold out the whatever the name of the big place in Missoula is, that theater. Like they get pretty good comedians, and they certainly get people that aren't for everybody. So yeah, this is probably, and I don't really know exactly how, Pat, you probably know better because you're kind of the marketing guy. I don't really know exactly how the targeted Facebook ads work, and maybe this was just something that came across him and he hit play just to see if he could find a reason to get pissed off. I guess I don't know how it targets, if it's like a
the labels
geometric or
no, the label's pretty, like if you read, you see the Facebook ad, you see the title of it, and the title explicitly says, it's a wild, politically incorrect, no bars held or whatever comedy group. So he knows what he's watching. So yeah, he tried to just click the video to try to get pissed off at it.
Yeah. You know what I hate hearing all the time in the comedy realm, and I hear it from comedians all the time. certain comedians can say certain things because they've made it to that Chappelle level or whatever. So it's like, oh yeah, or like Brad Garrett off of Everyone Loves Raymond. Remember Derek Richards told a joke about Brad Garrett, and he's like, he said this to this little black guy on stage, and it was this racial blah blah blah, and he's like, but you can get away with it because Brad Garrett. I hate that fucking shit. I just think if you got the balls and the confidence to do it, then just fucking do it. You know, you don't have to reach a certain status to all of a sudden you could be offensive. Louis C.K. says terrible shit. It's like, why do you gotta all of a sudden be Louis C.K. and sell out, you know, have 500 people buy your tickets? I mean, eventually, hopefully we get there. But for right now, it's like, if you don't like our shit, don't fucking come to our shit. If you don't like Louis C.K., don't watch Louis C.K.
Right now, we're just hoping that 5 people will buy all tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you're right.
I hate that excuse about certain comedians. They've reached that level.
And this goes back to the kind of the boycott Pat Cutler movement with the Redgate film. And we would for our Redgate film, you know, I wrote the script and everything. And there's just basic shit in that script that these super liberal ass actors from Missoula fucking refused to say, and said the script was offensive. We had to take all this shit out, and they refused to say it and do it. And then even after we paid them and everything, they boycotted our film anyways because they didn't like my views on COVID-19. It's just like, but if my name was not Patrick W. Cutler, it was fucking Quentin Tarantino, you think they're going to give a fuck if it says retarded in the script, which is in all kinds of different films? It's a fucking movie. Get over it.
We were watching, you guys seen The Change Up with Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman?
Oh, yeah.
Last night, and Ryan Reynolds is looking at the two twins. He's like, this one looks a little retarded. He's like, you can't say that. He's like, okay, but seriously, he looks a little downsy. And I'm like, this isn't a Hollywood movie, so it's like, that's okay there, but not in other circumstances.
But that movie's old enough to where people weren't getting mad about everything yet. I think that's the issue.
I don't even think people are getting mad about things. I think it's just the loudest 1% are ruining it, and everyone else is just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, who's got a problem with this?
It's a very small minority, and that's like we said, the creep show controversy. People trying to shut down our haunted houses that we had at a place that used to be a funeral home. Very small minority, and we just said we don't really give a fuck. We're not going to bow down to a very small minority of people throwing a fit for no fucking reason.
And you know what? Your ticket booth paid the price for that.
Yeah, and then we end up smashing. I mean, Kelly put out the numbers for regular creep shows, and we just crushed the record, like destroyed it. It was like twice as much as we've ever had, almost.
I mean, yeah, it's not you don't get a free like news story marketing before everyone. Maybe you should now, though.
Well, it's like it's this minority that's so offended by everything. It's like, okay, we're all in high school, and there's 10 of us standing in a hallway. There's one little fucking nerd that has the megaphone shouting in all of our faces, but all 10 of us, you know, in that circumstance, hanging from his locker by his underwear, you know, in this day and age, it's just like, oh, fuck, maybe this is what everyone thinks because they're so loud. No, it's still 10 of us over here and one little dipshit with a megaphone, and we need to shove that up his fucking ass.
Yeah. So let's move on to where this conversation ended here with me and this guy. More like DOS Froot and this guy. So look at the final screenshot. Then he said something at the end. I just stopped paying attention, so he didn't want to take it that far. So he finally responds back to my dead corpse comment. I retract my initial comment. You're not funny. First my mom, then my grandma. Sounds to me like you have mommy issues. And you can thank me later for helping put you through college. Your mom sucks a good dick. Then I respond, not as good as your grandma and mom gave the entire DOS Froot improv group last weekend.
And now he's going to show up to the show on the 4th with a pipe bomb strapped to his chest.
You know what? Like, it's more like, what if that's how you guys go out, all because of some back and forth on the internet? Like, you make that joke, he randomly listens to this show, and he's like, yeah, fucking yes, that's what I'm gonna do.
That's what I'm gonna do.
I don't know. I guess me and Jace would have to speak at the services.
That's good.
At least you know they'd be well attended because Jace was speaking at them.
I know. I would basically be the warm-up speaker to get the crowd ready for the main event.
I just go up there and stand and look at them and then leave. Like, yeah.
Hey, speaking of Jace, yeah, I want to hear from Jace. You know, we're all comedians and actors and stuff. So what does it look like from the outside in? Are you ever like, oh shit, that's offensive, you shouldn't have said that? Or is it just fluff to you?
Well, it's fluff to me. Like, I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. But sometimes I look around to see how other people react. Like, I expect everybody to kind of like shake their head and be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they said that."
And how many people though, Jace, would you say that are saying, "Oh my god, I can't believe they said it," because they don't look? This is what virtue signaling actually is, because they don't want to look bad in front of everybody else that saw it.
Not as many as I would imagine. Like, it surprises me that a lot of how many people actually think it's funny. I mean, I think it's funny, but like Kelly was saying, 1% of the people out there think it's outrageous and inappropriate, and really, it's not that many. You'd be surprised at how many people think that's so funny.
The most people with those movements or whatever are people that are just too afraid that, oh, if I like this, I'll look bad in front of everybody else, and I'll look like a bad guy if I think this is funny.
And that could be it, yeah.
Where there's only a very small minority that thinks funny. Here's a live shot of that guy we're talking about that we're arguing with on Facebook. Here's a live shot of him commenting right now on our Facebook post.
Oh God.
There he is.
You know, the mantra for Das Froot, we've talked about it all the time, is we do whatever we want with confidence, and we never apologize. The only way to be a true comedian in this world nowadays is never fucking apologize. Because once you do, you're done. They'll fucking eat you alive. So even if we are wrong or we say something shitty, maybe we'll talk about it amongst our group, but we'll never ever go out and say, you know what, we're sorry. You just can't do it.
And it's crazy, as you do improv, you got to get used to that live on stage, because you'll say stuff that's super offensive and that you think's funny, and then you'll get nothing. But you got to pick it up and keep going no matter what. And since we've done a lot of shows so far. I can't even count how many we've done so far, but we haven't done a single show yet where, whether it be me, Kelly, or anybody else, says something super offensive, the crowd goes dead, and then they just refuse to laugh at that person the rest of the show. We have not had one crowd turn against a specific person any of our shows so far.
No, and I'd say if you speak regularly in the improv show, some of us speak more than others, but if you speak regularly, half of what you say does not get a response or a laugh. Half. Yeah. So if you're like self-conscious or something, improv comedy is not the fucking place for you, because you'll go into a shell and you're done. You just got to expect not to get laughs. They don't get it sometimes, you know.
I mean, I've done rape jokes up there that didn't get a laugh. And then I've done jokes where I literally joked about cutting my girlfriend's head off in a prop game, and they still laughed at other stuff I did later in the show.
And you never know what's going to get a laugh. Like, you just got to try. It's like fishing, you know, you throw your line out there, you're not going to catch a fish every fucking time. Sometimes you reel in a big one and you're just so surprised. You're like, where the fuck did that come from, you know?
Yeah.
That's just like Jace coming home from the bars, you know. Sometimes you reel in a big one.
Where the fuck did that come from?
Sometimes, all the time.
That's what he wakes up next to her, and that's what he says. Where the fuck did that come from?
All right, so let's move on down here so we can finally get to the end part, which is what we're all looking forward to, which is Jace Felde here talking about his sex life. We're gonna move on to the Kyle Rittenhouse trial here, folks. If you haven't been watching this, just a quick update. I've shown videos in previous episodes. I'm not going to show any videos or anything. Just have an open discussion that you either watched or you haven't. But basically, Kyle Rittenhouse, I think he actually lives in Illinois. The more I kind of look at this from some of the things I've seen, but basically he went over to Kenosha, Washington, which I don't know, is an hour away or something like that. Wisconsin, yes. What did I say? Michigan?
Washington.
So he went from Illinois all the way to Washington, just helping out neighborhood friends, right, Bones?
Just a kid, just really concerned for a state he doesn't even live in.
Hey, Mahogany, you ever been to Washington?
You know, my brother lives up there, so I've visited a couple times.
Nice.
It's not like much like everything you see on the news. It's not as bad as everyone tries to portray it. It's a pretty nice place. He seems to like it up there anyway.
Nice.
So, anyways, Rittenhouse, he gets yeah, this is the gun part of it is they got a good case on the gun part, but the trial has nothing to do with the fucking gun, and we can debate the gun here in a bit. But he's a 17-year-old kid that can't own a specific firearm, whether it's AK-47 or something like that, and he gets the gun because someone gives it to him, and he goes over to this this is the middle of COVID and riots and stuff, and they started to form these neighborhood watch groups, or whatever. They're more like neighborhood militias, you might call them, actually, and they go out and try to defend property during these riots. And basically he's out there running around or whatever with his gun. And if you watch the video, was it a smart idea to go travel across to another state? And then again, it's only like an hour or two away. It wasn't like he traveled across like the state of Texas to go somewhere. But was it the smartest idea to do that? Probably not. Did he go and start just shooting random people like John Rambo style, like Chris Kyle claims in his book during Hurricane Katrina? No. He basically showed up to kind of help with a very nice deadly weapon in hand.
Yeah.
And when you have a deadly weapon and you're running around a bunch of riots, the odds are something deadly is probably going to happen. He's just a kid at the wrong place at the wrong time, and that was the lawyer's final defense for him. No.
It's just a wrong place, a wrong time. I don't even, he thought the gun was, he picked up a piece of a tree, like a play, he's just a kid out there playing guns with tree branches, and it turns out it was actually a live AK-47 with live ammo. I mean,
who would have known?
Which, what 17-year-old hasn't made that mistake during riots? I mean, who amongst us can say they haven't done that?
God, this is terrible I'm about to say, but I had a pedophile roommate in college.
That's a pretty terrible opener. So yeah.
No, he wasn't actually a pedophile, but he got caught in one of those. This is at the University of Montana State. If anybody wants to go there, by the way, here's a little promo for you. Montana State University in Bozeman, and FBI broke down my door in the middle of the night. I can tell I go off that forever. But basically, what he did was he was on his computer, like back on AOL Messenger days, or it might be in Yahoo Messenger, and he's messaging this girl or whatever. And it was a sting operation set up by cops. Well, he's got to be 18. He's 18. He's talking to a girl who's like 13, I want to say. It's not a very good idea if you know what the laws are, and it's just not a very good idea anyways, under any circumstances to do what he did. But basically, he showed up, and the sting, they busted him. They're going for like a big time ring or whatever, but they found this kid who had no clue what he's doing. But my biggest problem was he showed up with like fucking 20 condoms on him, which is a really bad idea. And where are we going with this?
No idea. It's your story.
I don't know.
His name was Kyle Rittenhouse.
It was.
That's the long way of saying.
I'm not sure where I was going with that story exactly.
It was a good one.
I think what you're trying to say is don't show up to a knife fight with 20 condoms.
But it's like, I guess overall, it's like, there's just certain situations you should just avoid because you just know that something's going down or whatever. So it's just like, that's kind of one of those. But with Rittenhouse, though, it's like he shows up, he gets tackled once and shoots a guy, and then he's trying to say friendly, and not get, after this happens, and he gets tackled again, the guy pulls a gun on him and shoots another guy. So he gets attacked. And it's clear. My thing is, regardless of what he did or didn't do to get there and get in that situation, it's pretty clear self-defense in these situations. So what do you think of this? What's your overhaul of this, Kelly?
God, I've watched so much, but it's so entertaining. I recommend it to everyone. They're in deliberations right now. The jury is, which is kind of funny because they had 18 jurors, and then in Wisconsin law, or maybe it's just this courtroom, this was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. They got to get rid of 6 jurors because they're alternates. So they put like all the names or whatever in a tumbler, like you'd see at a St. Mary's Center dinner in Deer Lodge, and they roll the tumbler around, and then the defendant, Kyle Rittenhouse, pulls the names, or the numbers, I should say, out of the tumbler, 6 numbers, and those are the jurors that aren't on the case. So that just was fucking weird today watching that.
That is ridiculous. That sounds like a shitty kids play. Like what? That's a justice system thing they have in a state.
Apparently.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say, actually, Mahomes. You were saying like just a kid having some fun, making a mistake in the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, my roommate in college, this is freshman year of college, right? And he got arrested taking this big police vehicle to Billings and all this stuff, and got back. And I was pretty paranoid at that time, so I was going through. I went through the entire room, went through his mail and stuff. And he got a card one day from a relative. It's like, it's just a typical freshman year. It can be really tough on you.
Yeah, I mean, getting arrested in a police sting and being a creepy pedophile, just typical college stuff.
It was like one of those. I don't know what they meant, but it came out so bad. I was like, oh god. But yeah, so you know who I know how I actually found out about, because the FBI raided our room in the middle of the night when I was there by myself, and no one told me fucking shit. I asked, "Can you tell me anything about this?" They're like, "No." I found out by reading a fucking newspaper like 3 or 4 days after it happened.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So the school didn't even tell you anything? It was just
like
hush hush?
Yeah, like the resident, it's not the RA, what's the not the RA, but the person that manages the dorm downstairs or whatever, the
Resident director,
yeah. She was the one that was like kind of like in the background as they're going through this stuff, and she left with the FBI, and like they never told me fucking shit. They told me nothing. like nothing. No one told me anything. So I was paranoid. I broke our fucking phone in our dorm room. I got so paranoid because I thought they might be tape recording calls or something. I don't know. It was weird because I remember my roommate got back finally like a week later, and he like touched the phone, just completely falls off the phone rack. I was like, yeah, that was the FBI. They dismantled your entire phone, dude. Yeah, it was.
Can you imagine, like, smoking weed or taking an edible right like an hour before that happens? Because you're already paranoid and shit on that, and then all of a sudden the actual FBI comes in. I think you go into an insane asylum.
Pat admits to everything. He admits to assassinating JFK.
It's fucking weird. Like, imagine you're about to go to bed, because he would come in late and stay up all night and all this shit. So I turned off the lights like 10:30, 11 o'clock. So I'm almost asleep. And then it's like 12:30 a.m. I get this knock on my door, and I open it up, and it's the FBI with the fucking search warrant. Imagine that happening to you your freshman year in college. Yeah. Like, and then they don't tell you anything. Wouldn't that make you paranoid as fuck?
Yeah, that's insane.
Yes, it would.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah. Anyways, back to the Rittenhouse case. Going off what Kelly says is with the drawing of the judges, or not the judges, the drawing of the judges, they do it out of the hat.
The judge will be Mickey Mouse.
My perspective is, I think it's been all political since the very beginning. I think if you're doing it there's nothing. It's just a hard case to prosecute because it's clear self-defense with the self-defense laws in Wisconsin, and there's nothing that you have it on video of it being self-defense. If you want to give him other charges or whatever else you wanted to do, I'm sure there's something else, but the charges themselves are all politically motivated. So my opinion is taking the trial is a joke, but you have him on camera defending himself. So it's such an impossible case to win. But my other angle of it, if you're going to actually take something to trial, and I think the judge in this case sided with, he doesn't think this should have been taken to trial. If you're going to actually go to trial on something, you got to actually like try to make it like a serious trial. And this so far has been a fucking farce the entire time.
Yeah, go on if you haven't seen it yet on the Kelly Cutler show, which you guys have probably seen on YouTube, or anybody listening. Go on there. I put together like a highlight reel, a comedic highlight reel, and this is just shit that I pulled out randomly. I didn't even like cherry pick stuff. This is great stuff that I found. It's so fucking hilarious, and there's so much that's not in there that was hilarious. But yeah, the prosecution, Mr. Binger and his partner, they really seem like I think they're doing a pretty good job. I know everyone says they're fucking it up, but I think they're doing a good job because they're trying to turn something into nothing, and all they're trying to do is cast doubt in your mind. So you listen to them, you're like, wow, this is a stretch. This is crazy how they're pulling this shit out of their ass. And I don't think that they're going to win. I think Kyle Rittenhouse is 100% innocent. And somebody said it best on TV or national television. They said, it's not Kyle Rittenhouse that's on trial, it's self-defense that's on trial. Because if they say that this wasn't self-defense, then that's going to kind of set the precedent and change that all across the nation for gun laws, for everything. But this was, in my opinion, clear self-defense. Should he have been there? No, but still, he was fucking attacked and he defended himself.
So this is how I would look at it, Mahomes, for this trial. I would look at it in comparison to like an NFL game. You ever have an NFL game where there's like a huge favorite and like a big underdog? Then on top of that big underdog, you have the ref, which is the judge in this case, just fucking just calling every flag possible, an underdog, making it impossible to win. That's kind of what the Kyle Rittenhouse case has been. What do you think of that so far?
Well, and I don't know enough about, I know we watched that video and I think it doesn't, like, I didn't know really much about it other than like this kid came from, he didn't live there, he had a gun and like put himself in not a good situation. The video certainly makes it seem like, okay, this was, not unprovoked. It's not like he went there planning to kill people. Well, he should have not had a loaded gun, but it's not like he went there with the intent to kill the people he killed. I can say that pretty comfortably. Like, it wasn't intentional homicide. Like, he didn't pick out whoever he killed. He didn't like plan. It wasn't a deliberate act where he thought about it before. So having said that, like, I really have no idea and Kelly's watched, and I don't know, is this just like, is it just on cable? Can you just watch it whenever?
Just YouTube's streaming it all over, CBS, PBS, everything, Fox.
You can watch it anywhere. I've happened to just be like working at home and like it just came on and I just had it in the background kind of as I work. So it's just like the main stuff I watched was the Rittenhouse interview itself, which is, again, it was a farce. That was the day the judge went off on the prosecutor. That's the other part, is like the prosecutor, I don't think has done a very good job. Like, the prosecutor crossed some line, and I don't know the context of it really because I haven't paid that much attention, but he crossed a really, really obvious line of like, they threw something out and said, you can't talk about this. And the prosecutor crossed that line and just said, I'm going to talk about it anyways.
Yeah.
So I guess if your point is like, take everything out and just say, if it's truly like the state against self-defense, like, forget about the circumstances, forget about where it was from, then that, like, even if it goes against, the defendant, it will go into a higher appellate court and it won't stand, because like self-defense, how many cases that would overturn, or how there has to be some sort of rule there. So I have no idea which way it'll end up, because again, I haven't paid any attention. But if Kelly, who's paid much more attention than me, thinks that's truly the case, then even if he doesn't win this, he probably will win in appellate court at a higher level.
Yeah, and it's been so publicized and so politicized, as Pat said, that it's just kind of been a whole fucking joke. The only reason I've watched so much of it, by the way, is because I was sick last week. It's just coming out of this sickness, so I was in bed a lot, and I just, like I said, I started watching 10 minutes of it because Albert and Pat were watching it. I was like, I'll check it out. And then I watched hours and hours and hours. But now I'm just hooked until it's over. But I've seen so much political horse shit on like social media, just crucifying these guys, and people are already starting to get ready to riot. It's like, this isn't just about what Kyle Rittenhouse did. It's about politics, 100%. It's about, what was his name? Jacob Blake. That's the whole reason these riots were happening in the first place, right, Pat?
Sorry. Yeah.
You're muted.
I muted myself. Oh, yeah. No, it's 100%. And then the media tries to paint it all. They're trying to compare oranges to apples and say it's the same thing. This isn't the same thing as these other situations where it's like, I don't know, it's hard to even go down those roads, because it's like, it's a road to nowhere, because you're talking about someone that went out and killed someone as he had a gun in self-defense. And then you're talking about like altercations with police officers and things of that nature, which are just like, they're not even like close. So like Ben and Jerry's, for some reason, is getting into this, and this came from Mike Freeze, is like, how would this trial be going if He was a black 17-year-old that crossed state lines illegally, carrying out and shot 3 white protesters. First of all, the people that he killed weren't like fucking white, were they? There's only like, I mean, they weren't black. He killed 2 white people, right?
The first guy was white and off his meds, and he was dropping N-bomb after N-bomb after N-bomb, and they try to claim that he was there for Black Lives Matter. I don't fucking think so. And he takes off after Rittenhouse, who's running down the road, screaming obscenities at him, throws a bag of contents that, we know now, but didn't know at the time. Rittenhouse falls over and shoots this guy in the hip, and the guy still is coming at him, and then he shoots him, I think, a total of 3 or 4 times. But if I had a gun and someone was chasing me down fucking Main Street, yelling the N-word, yelling obscenities, and throwing stuff at me, I think I'd be pretty fucking scared. I don't think I would have time to process, like, I'm going to self-defend myself. It would just shit, like, self-defense just fucking happens, in my opinion, And that's exactly what happened with, what was that guy's name? Rosenblum or something? The first guy.
Oh, who?
The first one. Well, one of the guys that he shot him in the hip and he ended up killing him. But
I don't think I really got the name, so I'm not entirely sure.
But this has been so politicized by people on social media that I see, and I'm just like, you can't say that. You can't put a fucking opinion about this on social media unless you watch the court case, because the court case is such a fucking circus. The prosecution is going down rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. And if you've ever seen a court case, you could tell, like, they are stretching on everything that they say, because they don't have a fucking case.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point I've had, where they have the altercation with the judge and everything else. I think this prosecutor's in a really fucking difficult spot. I bet when he got this case, he basically said, "Oh, fuck me.
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with it." Yeah.
And I think Binger, he's an asshole, but I think he's done a hell of a job with literally nothing. He's trying to turn a turd into a gold nugget,
Yeah.
Now, Pat, did you say Ben and Jerry's is getting into this, like the ice cream company?
Yeah, let me
that's what you picked out of this entire conversation.
So
Ben and Jerry's.
It took, I was like, did I hear that right? Or did he, is there a celebrity that I don't know about that's like, maybe I just misheard?
I don't know if this is like their marketing campaign to like just like try to like tick off people politically or whatever. Man, maybe let me look and see. I gotta verify this because it came from Mike Freeze. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, this is a legit tweet. You want me to pull this Ben and Jerry's tweet?
You don't need to. I'll believe you. I was double checking that you said like the ice cream company is getting involved.
Yes.
So I was just making sure I heard that right.
Yes, they do. Ben and Jerry's. This isn't the first time they do this all the time, where they get involved in these political things. And Ben and Jerry's is interesting. Their story. Do you know how Ben and Jerry's like where they really made it big is their company basically went public, sharing stocks and stuff, and that's where it like took off. So it's really like, it's not your typical private company, because it's not really a private company. It's very much like a public company funded by like stockholders and stuff. You ever heard the story of Ben and Jerry's, Kelly?
No, I haven't.
So I wouldn't label it as your typical ice cream company, however successful they are. But yeah, they're getting involved. Again, this is all this is you can call it what you want. This is Ben and Jerry's. This is nothing short of them. Nothing short of Nike and Kaepernick. They're just there for the fucking money. If they can play people, and to make it sound like politically they're on their side, and that helps boost their profits and get them attention, better for them. But I mean, just like Kaepernick and Nike, this is all for the fucking money. There's nothing else that they're doing this for. So anyways, Felde, final words on Kyle Rittenhouse.
You didn't tell us what the quote was from Ben.
You want to actually see? I'll pull it up here.
Or you could read it. Either way.
I'll tell you what, all opinions aside, and I think we can all agree on this, they make a delicious ice cream. No matter what you say about them.
I am not gonna lie. I can't say I've never had theirs, but I don't get ice cream that often, and I rarely get Ben and Jerry's. Not that they don't.
They're out of Vermont, right? Up by your old place in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. They might be. Yeah, I think they are actually. Well, here's what Ben and Jerry says. The Rittenhouse trial displays yet again that our justice system is racist. How would this trial be going if it was a black 17-year-old that crossed state lines illegally and shot 3 white protesters? Okay, first of all, they weren't 3 white protesters. Again, you're trying to reverse the race. So you reverse the race here. So a white 17-year-old crossed and shot. Again, I think at least one person was white, but it doesn't, it's being attacked as self-defense, has nothing to do with the race, regardless of the situation. But again, they're trying to make some money here, and we need a real justice system in the legal system. This isn't it. This is just a popular, they could go through a lot of cases that they could have a good point on. This is not one of them. This is just a big popular marketing stunt by Ben and Jerry's. So, I mean, good for them. They can sell a lot more ice cream with this, Mahomes. I say good for them, right?
Can you imagine the chaos that would have been if we had social media during the O.J. Simpson trial?
Oh my gosh, it would have been freaking nuts.
Life is such a better place without social media. Who'd have thunk?
Yeah, it's
watching the whole thing too. I was just like, if I was on the jury, again, I'd have to sit down on every count because I don't know every single count, but I'm definitely leaning towards a not guilty verdict. But there's 6 counts, so I think they're going to comb through it for probably days. But then they also have lesser included counts, which could be like not aggravated assault, but all the stuff that he could be charged on that I could see them contemplating for a long time. But the murder, the homicide charges, I don't fucking see it. I don't see it.
And the prosecutor, I did watch the one segment when he went after Kyle Rittenhouse. He did a really good job of setting up Rittenhouse in his interrogate, whatever you want, when he was on the stand and everything. The prosecutor really set up those. You knew that you were using deadly force, and basically Rittenhouse said yes. But at the same time, a lot of times when you're like, if someone's chasing me and I try to shoot and stop, my intent would not be to kill the person. My intent would be to stop the person from coming towards me. So it's kind of like a split-second decision where you try. I mean, it's like if Kyle Rittenhouse hit him with pinpoint accuracy right through the fucking head, you could say, okay, he was clearly trying to kill him. But when you're just trying pointing and shooting and trying to shoot to get the guy off of you, it's much different.
How would you everyone just needs to put themselves in that place, How would you act if someone was chasing you down the fucking street and the one guy tries to stomp your head in with his boot and another guy actually pulls out a gun and admits to pointing it at him? It's just like, how the fuck would you guys act? Would you defend yourself at all costs? Should he have been there? That's not what he's on trial for. Should he have been there or not? He probably shouldn't have been there. But self-defense is what's on trial right here, not whether or not he should have been in Kenosha that night.
No, I'm gonna guess the stuff he gets in trouble for is, that he shouldn't have been there, right? Because I'm sure there's some sort of, if he wasn't old enough to have a gun, I'm sure there's probably some sort of law against a minor crossing state lines with a gun he shouldn't have, like that sort of stuff. I'm sure he'll get in trouble for that.
The judge has already thrown that part out.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, there's 6 counts, and I don't know all 6, but if there is an account like that, which again, Pat's right, the judge has thrown out like the weapon thing, illegally holding a weapon or whatever. But yeah, if there's a count that's lesser like that he is guilty for, great, then he's guilty for that. But he's not guilty of going down there and intentionally killing people or whatever.
Well, my question is what did?
Thanks, Jace.
I'm getting in there. What made those guys decide, hey, I'm going to attack this kid that's got this deadly weapon? Like, what provoked them to attack somebody like that? Because if I was on the end of the rioter side, I wouldn't even go near that kid. I wouldn't want anything to do with him. Unless he was attacking me. Unless he was provoking
According to the prosecution, he was walking there. This took place on several blocks in Kenosha, and he was walking through a place that he didn't necessarily have to go. So they're trying to say he provoked them by walking through there. But
no,
again,
but still, I wouldn't approach him. He's got that fucking weapon. If I was going to, I'd just shoot him point blank without him even noticing I was there. That's the only way I'd do anything.
The guy
attack him with a skateboard.
One of the guys he killed just got out of, I think they said the hospital, but the defense is trying to say it was jail. They weren't sure, but he had just got out of, let's say, the hospital, and he hadn't had his meds or something like that. So this guy was not right in the mind in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy makes sense, but
It'd be like
I'd never fuck with that.
It'd be like if someone's walking down the street with a Patriots 28 Falcons 3 shirt and Mahoney just fucking blows their brains out. Is that guy's fault?
Yes, it is.
I mean, and how about how good did my Falcons look against the Cowboys this weekend? Huh?
Oh yeah, you got your Falcons gear. I got my Steelers stuff. We tied Detroit.
Yeah.
God. Yeah. After they who they just beat, they were fucking 4-4 and in the 7th spot or whatever in the playoffs.
Yeah. They beat the Saints in New Orleans. I was flying high. They always find a way to clip my wings though.
Hey, some birds weren't meant to be caged.
They got Dallas on a bad week. Dallas came off that embarrassing loss to the Broncos. So Dallas just played out of their minds. That's not the true Dallas Cowboys there tonight, folks. I'm sorry if you're a Cowboys fan, but that was not the true Dallas Cowboys we saw on Sunday. Yeah, shoot. So next up, so at the theater here at Cuthbert's Theater, again live from the box. I was next to Cuthbert's Theater run here in Deer Lodge, Montana. We doing the first reenactment this Christmas of Home Alone as a theatrical play. What do you think about that idea, doing Home Alone as a theatrical play for the first time in history, Mounds?
I think it's really cool. I am how did the script come along? Are you guys doing the script? Did you work with those people? Did you have to get rights to use the name? I'm curious about all that stuff.
I mean, yeah, Home Alone's not a stage play. We tried to get the rights and everything, so we couldn't because it's not a stage play. So my mom found the movie script online. I started adapting it, I should say, for the stage. But it was like an older version, so it didn't match the movie, and I wanted to be as close to the movie as possible. So I bought the movie on Amazon, and I just watched it clip by clip, pause, play, and I just dictated the whole thing for the stage. So I mean, we're just going for it. If it's kind of one of those things. Ask for forgiveness. If somebody wants to approach us and say, "Hold on, you don't have the right to do that," then we'll talk to them and just say, "Hey, we got the whole fucking stage play now. This is now a stage play in the world, which it wasn't before this." And that's what I told the cast. I said, "This is pretty crazy. To our knowledge, this is the first time Home Alone will ever be done on the stage." But an adaptation is your own work. Like the adaptation is my own work. It's kind of the same thing as parody or parody law. It's like, just because it's a story that has been told over here that somebody else wrote, it doesn't mean that I can't adapt it to the stage. Of course, we would love permission to, for them to say, "Yeah, do it, cheer us on and everything." But we don't know how to go about contacting those people. And if they contact us, even better. It's like, here's a stage play. You can have it. Let's work on it.
Yeah, and if they approach you for it, that means you guys did a damn good job.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be a good thing.
It's pretty crazy to think it hasn't been on stage before, but I guess when you think about how he deals with the wet bandits, all that stuff's going to be kind of pretty hard to reproduce on stage, I would imagine.
People are racking their brains. I just talked to Kenny, who's one of our special effects guys, and he already brought the iron that hits Marv in the face. He already brought this thing that he made out of a milk jug. It's like, man, did you spend 30 years in prison, just to be able to get that creative? And we're talking about mats here and there and how people fall. And I think we're going to be able to do most of the stunts using lighting and just different effects. And we're going to do most of those fucking stunts, and it's going to be badass.
Are you Harry or Marv?
I am not really in it. Pat plays the dad. We had some guy, Pat was going to play Marv, and Pat would have been great. We had some guy come down from Butte who could have played any role, but this guy looked fucking just like Marv, and he's like, "I want the part of Marv." So just the way auditions went, we're like, "Well, Pat, would you mind playing Harry or playing the dad?" Who the dad's got a lot of lines, and he's kind of a more serious character, which I think is stretching Pat's acting ability more than just playing a goofball, So the guy from Butte, this newbie, is playing Marv, and then Josh Pentland is playing Harry. And I mean, he's
Palin,
douchebag Marv.
That's perfect.
Yeah, Palin's perfect. Did that guy actually say he wanted to play Marv and he came down auditions?
Yeah, but he didn't say that's all he would do. He just said, I'm auditioning for the role of Marv.
Oh, okay.
Because we thought of him as Harry Marv. Honestly, I think he was pretty much after auditions. I think we all agreed he had to play one of the bandits just because he's
Goofy
just
and
got
stuff,
that demeanor. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it worked out well. Like all auditions, we do that. Me or Kelly go to audition thinking we want to play some role or something, and something else happens, and we switch around. It's also funny how like me, Kelly, and Matt for Cutler Brothers Productions, we like rotate who's in what play because like I had nothing to do with Footloose at all. I wasn't in that at all. But Kelly and Matt had like small parts in that, and now Kelly and Matt are not in Home Alone at all. And then I have like a medium part or whatever you want to call the dad in Home Alone. So it's fun to kind of rotate one of us in there and keep us on stage with their own productions.
One thing about Cutler Brothers Productions too, that a lot of, we get a lot of shit like, oh yeah, they start their own theater, then cast themselves as the leads. I think maybe that was a little bit, true in the past. When we first started, we wanted to be on stage all the time. But now that we're getting older, I can speak personally. I'm like, I don't necessarily need or want to be on stage. I have like 2 bucket list roles left that I definitely want to play. Outside of that, I'm pretty fucking flexible. Like if somebody shows up that could play a better Who from Whoville or whatever, then they can have the role. I would rather direct and sit back and mold this thing from behind the curtain. And I think Pat's the same way. Like we have just a couple of bucket list roles left. Outside of that, we'll play a part if we have to. If not, if someone great shows up, then great, they can have the role.
It's crazy.
Everyone that says we do that at Cutler Brothers Productions.
It's crazy. When you do so many fucking shows, you tend to at some point want to just be more like a producer of the show, not really have like a huge part. And then it's like the more, I guess, the older you get and the more shows you do, you only want to really do specific roles that you actually really want in specific plays. So it's not like you just want to just like, oh, we're doing the musical, so I'm going to play a part in it no matter what. So it's kind of like, yeah, the more things go on, the less you want to be in like every single show. Trust me, I know from my when COVID hit and knocked me down here for however long, still down here, 10 years from now, I'll still probably be here because of COVID. No, but we did a run, and we did the 12 show run for both, or one was technically 11, 12 shows for 2 plays. And I did that fucking run, and that's like 3 or 4 months of your time. And after you're done, you're like, holy fuck, I am worn out from doing so many fucking shows.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't even want to show up to the theater or be involved at all. It's kind of a joke, but I mean, lately we're getting more and more people that can direct. That's just what happens with the expansion of a business like this. And like going to watch Robin Hood or Steel Magnolias or some of these shows that I was very, very, very hands off or no hands whatsoever on it. I just thought it was badass. Like to be able to see a Cutler Brothers production without any knowledge, no casting, no rehearsals, nothing is pretty fucking cool to be able to go watch that, because they're still holding it to the quality that we want, because we've trained that for the last 16 years,
And all we do is really kind of the producing side of providing the costumes, the stage, the space, and then the marketing side of it too. So like that is really cool. Like Pride and Prejudice, Robin Hood, where you got to take a break from doing theater for a while, and we had back-to-back shows not only go up, but both those shows did really fucking good kind of during the height of COVID and everything. So that was kind of cool to see.
Yeah. So long story short, Mahoney, it's an adaptation for the stage. And I realized how difficult it was going to be once I started watching the movie. And I was like, man, this show I thought we could do it all in the McAllister living room. And you probably could in some world if you wanted to write it that way. But there's so much in airports and in France and at the cop shop and downtown and at stores. There's so much of that movie that's not in that living room. So this thing's going to bounce around all over the place, and we're going to get really creative. It's going to be like comedy night, where there's constant, like, just a table brought on for this scene, and then over here we got a sign, and very simple sets, but bouncing across the stage left and right. And we just did all of Act 1 tonight in the first week and a half, all of Act 1. And I was so impressed with, like, man, people are going to fucking see Home Alone. Like, this is going to pop once we get them into costume and the set and everything's done.
That's cool. That's really cool, man. This is a new frontier you're going on. Like, it's crazy. It's really crazy to think, because that movie's old enough that someone out there, you figured someone out there would have tried it, but they probably thought this is way too complicated. You know, this is
Yeah.
how the hell are we going to do this? And you, in typical Cutler brother fashion, you just say, fuck it, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. The second act is the bitch, obviously, because you have all those fucking stunts and shit happening to all those guys. So that is going to be, you have to set up an obstacle course basically on stage every single night. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that comes together.
Yeah. People think far too much. This is just like a philosophical thing, but people think far too much about anything, and like they want to build the puzzle before they even put their first piece down. And you just hit it on the nose. In typical Cutler Brothers fashion, it's just like, just fucking plan it. If we can't have these guys get hit in the face with paint cans and fly off a flight of stairs and land on their backs and his gold tooth pop out, well then guess what? We'll punt. We'll do something different. But on all this pranks or the traps and everything so far, I just got to tell you, so many people have ideas and we've just opened it up. Like, if you got an idea, come to us, because none of this shit's planned. Right now, I think we're going to do everything that you see in the movie to some capacity, even the tarantula.
Real tarantula?
No, it's fucking theater.
Come on.
Oh, God. All right, well, since you spoke up, let's go to our final topic of the night. Jace Felde's sex stories.
I'm running dry on those. I don't really have any more.
Anymore. What about
All right.
lady?
Yeah, it's a great show. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much, Jace.
There you go.
Been fun, Jace.
I watched a video on Tinder today, not on Tinder, but on YouTube about Tinder, and God, that doesn't depress the shit out of you. If you're single out there and you're kind of in a position where you're not really in a state and you're kind of bouncing between different states like Pennsylvania and doing an odd job thing for months on end, right? Felt it?
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks.
What apps are you on, Jace?
You name it, I'm on it.
Yeah.
BlackEagleMeat.com, FarmersMeat.com, Christian Mingle, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. You name it. I'm on it, bud.
What is the most successful, would you say?
Tinder. Bumble's got way better quality, but you got the little sluts on Tinder.
And what's Hinge? I know the difference between Tinder and Bumble. What's is Hinge just like the Target version of Tinder, or like what's
yeah. I don't really. Hinge and Tinder are pretty similar, but you can message like right away. You don't even have to wait for a match.
Hinge and Bumble. Sorry,
Bumble.
Bumble's the one where I get laid on. No, just kidding. No. Hinge and Bumble, it's like I'll say it like this: like you have like the top is like their first picture or whatever, and then you have like a series of like different types, like little questions and the responses and stuff like that to it. So it's more like you get more of a feel for the person. It's not just based on their picture, although 99% of the people are just based on their picture anyways, don't give a fuck what they say.
Yeah, Tinder starts making it hard to even find how to read their profile. You gotta like find this tiny little mark down there and push it.
Tinder is just the problem with Tinder is there's so many profiles that like don't have any fucking info on it at all. So you're like,
yeah.
And there's a lot of fake profiles. And like, I'll tell you this, the times I went, you know what the times I went most on Tinder were? When I was hungover as fuck. You're like,
yeah, I just do it when I'm bored.
Yeah, it's like a bored or just want something to do for like a certain period of time. It's like bored or hungover as fuck. Cause like after spending even 30 minutes on Tinder, you basically feel like complete shit. I'm not even joking.
It's so weird how life fucking changes. Cause you know, me and Mahoney are married, and I feel like I'm 68 years old talking to a bunch of teenagers. Just like, now what is this? There's a profile. Explain this to me. Do you feel like that, Mahoney?
I feel like that all the time. I'm honestly fascinated by it because I've been dating the same person for like well before any of this stuff came out. So the whole thing fascinates me, honestly.
So I'd say
pretty sketchy.
Out of all your dating apps, Feldy, how many of people off of those dating apps do you still like talk to like today?
Still talk to? Okay, well, let me just
not on a consistent basis, with off and on or whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you just from on my Tinder. This is just Tinder. How many matches I have?
No, not matches. Who like?
I know. I'm gonna tell you how many matches, and then how many of those matches I talked to or have talked to for more than a week or two. So I got 383 matches on here. That doesn't include the ones that I unmatched and the ones that have unmatched me. Of those 383, I can think of 2.
Really?
2.
So I'm not near as much as that. I actually have no idea how many matches I've had. It's hard to fucking do because I'll either unmatch them really fast because there's no reason to match begin with or something, or I'll just like move on. But a year on and off for a year, really on and off. Like, I mean, I'm not really being on it that often, taking long fucking breaks and just being on it occasionally.
Yeah.
I have 2 people that one I don't really talk to, but I'm friends with on Snapchat. And the other one I talk to on Snapchat like maybe once a week.
Yeah.
Just
now,
small talk BS or whatever.
Yeah. Now I got one on Bumble that I still am friends with.
I had one
and then one on Hinge. So 4 total. I've had all my dating apps.
I had one on Bumble that was actually good, but then within 24 hours, she wanted to know every single detail of my divorce. Let's just say she did not like my responses.
Yeah, I've had a few like that. There's some that, I've got pretty close with, and then just I haven't talked to in maybe years.
That's why in some of the apps you almost have to like not list every little detail about you because they'll find something to like hone in on. If you're like divorced, have kids where they want to know every fucking little detail. But I was like, okay, this is not. Yeah. This is like.
Hey, Jace, what's your success rate on Grindr?
Grindr very high, 100%.
Hey, so serious question, Pat and Jace, have you guys ever met or hooked up with or gone on a date or anything off of any of these apps? Because my track record back in the day was 0.
Yeah, I've gone on probably a dozen, maybe.
Wow.
Mine again. Go ahead, Felde.
I'll just say there, and I dated one, like legitimately dated one for a little while, and then hung out with another one for quite a while, like as more weekends.
Mine would be 0, but my experience isn't near like Felde's experience. But I would say though that like if I wanted to go on a date with somebody, or if I wanted to go on a date with somebody on Tinder, could I have? Is that something I could set up? Yeah, easily.
Yeah, same here. Like,
easily.
20 of them.
What kind of sucked for me back in the day was being from Montana. You're such a tight web. So you'd be talking to someone from Helena or Butte or something, and then they'd say, "Oh, by the way, I know your cousin Corey, or I know your friend Kyler," and both those things happened actually with the same chick. And they're like, "Oh, you know them," and then you go ask them, "Do you know so and so?" "Oh, she could suck the rust off a trailer hitch." I'm like, okay, well, and that was a game.
That sounds like you're on
no-go for me.
Yeah.
Dang. That sounds like you're on Grindr talking to somebody that used to be straight.
Yeah, that was definitely a deal breaker for me. I just never wanted to have a thing with somebody that hooked up with somebody that I know, or especially if they're really close to me,
God, I have had 2 that are from Bozeman and would definitely want to meet up. And I just like, I'm not going to fucking drive to Bozeman or whatever. That's just not a drive I really like very much. But now that I think about it, I'm driving there on Thanksgiving because the folks got their parents got their Florida trip canceled. They're not leaving until Thursday. They're supposed to leave yesterday. And now I got to drive them to Butte on Thursday at like 5:00 in the morning. And then Thanksgiving Day, I now got to go to Bozeman and pick them up. So maybe I'll see if she wants to hang out for a little bit in Bozeman. Should I?
Yeah. See if she'll meet you in beautiful downtown Whitehall.
Say, hey, listen, I just wanted to give you something that you could give thanks for today. Open with that.
I wanted to give you your pre-protein. Jeez.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, offensive. That's too offensive.
Yeah, I would say I'd say like this though. I don't know how Felde feels, but it feels like when you're just online talking or chatting on Snapchat or something, it feels more like, I don't know, I want to say like casual to when after you meet someone in person, they might fucking change and go from like, just kind of a casual conversation, just like blowing your fucking phone up constantly. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's always like that kind of fear in your back of your mind is like, fuck. Because I probably look like a douchebag most of the time on social media. But yeah, it's like once you meet in person, you're like, if they think I'm cool, then it might just blow me up. And it's like, it just kind of like, yeah, I kind of want to stay on like step 0.2 of that ladder of a relationship.
Yeah, stay on the new picture.
Just send me pictures of your tits, then we can see how far we can go from there.
Yep. They refuse to do that. I don't want anything to do with them.
So, Jace, are you actively trying to find a relationship or anything? Or are you just kind
On
of
Tinder and them? No.
on anything? Or are you just kind of limbo, don't care?
I'm
right
just
now?
whatever comes along comes along. But no, I don't take those dating apps seriously. They're either psychos or fatties.
You're working on you.
Yeah, I'm working on me and trying to
Just
get
trying to
laid.
find yourself, man. This is your journey.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
I'm going to. I'm gonna write it out.
Well, if anybody wants to date the number one visitor to Prison City Podcast, he is single and ready to mingle. So
Yes, my number is 4. No, just kidding.
I know we got a lot of hotties that listen to this channel.
Yeah, tell them to look me up.
Yeah.
Add me on Facebook.
Former state champion, ladies, by the way. Still raw athlete.
Oh, stop it, Mark. Oh, stop.
That's funny.
We got 2 of them, don't we?
We do. Both of the single gentlemen on this podcast are state champions.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah.
Between the 2 of us, we have 4 gold medals.
I know. You should just walk around on Tinder like that.
Yeah.
I should go on there with my state championship medal and just comb my hair back and cross my eyes, make myself look like I have like fucking Down syndrome or something.
Yeah.
Oh, you won!
All right, we're off the rails.
I like this.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of the round the horses segment. We're about 30 minutes faster than previous weeks with our special guest Mike Frieswein, is a dedicated listener right now. Thanks, Mike, for that one screen capture you sent here for tonight's show. Ben and Jerry's, folks, if you're into that thing, yeah. Go ahead, Ben and Jerry's, the official sponsor of this episode, because they know. All right, so let's just round the horses here, and we'll start with you, Felde. What did you think of your sex life right now, and who are you trying to fuck today?
Oh, Jesus. Nobody. Well, anybody, really. Either one's fine.
Pretty
all
broad
right.
spectrum there, Jace.
Yeah, I'm really not picky.
This kind of feels like we're limping to the end of this episode.
Yeah. Jace is about to pull out 20 condoms and head out the door with the FBI.
Is that how it works? Worked for him, didn't it?
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to Kelly. What do you have to say about tonight's episode?
Yeah. Well, it was super, it was going really good. It seems like this episode kind of hit an iceberg and we're just standing on the top of the ship watching it sink beneath the just listening to you and Jace talk about Tinder. I just fell asleep. No, it's Rittenhouse, very interesting shit. If you really want to form an opinion on it, it's all out there. Actually, if you want to form an opinion on anything, it's all fucking out there. Go look at it, or else, maybe don't have much of an opinion. I'm basically just talking to these people that are just saying like this cruel, terrible shit because they're buying into the political horse shit that Kyle Rittenhouse, the trial, has become. Go out there and actually watch the fucking trials in front of your eyes. You don't have to be so ignorant. And when it's somebody like me that has watched most of that shit, it sees your ignorant comments, you just look so overly ignorant. So just do your due diligence or shut the fuck up. And I just wanted to end on a positive note. So there we go.
Yeah, that's really positive there. God, the Rittenhouse and Tinder just kind of took it out of me tonight.
Hey, Matt Cutler just shows up in a minute. Been trying to talk for 5 fucking categories. Suck a dick, fuckers.
God. Mahomes, what are your final words for tonight?
I mean, I kind of want to echo what Kelly says. Like, if you guys want to come and talk to me about early 90s, the first edition Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like, I fucking know, okay? So don't come at me because I was there. I fucking know. You're going to look like an idiot. But anyway, if anyone is still listening, praise to you. And go to Helena, man. Have a good beer, watch a good show Sunday night.
Oh,
Yeah, Das Fruit Sunday night, folks, in Helena, 7 p.m. at the Lewis and Clark Brewers. Good, really good show. This has been great. I like the ending there. Man, I don't think I ever thought about that. I'll actually be in a location where one of my Tinder people that I've been talking to on Snapchat for a while. Should I actually meet up with her, Jace? I mean, is that a good idea?
Yes, it's always a good idea.
I feel like your odds are, if it's actually on Thanksgiving Day, going to be tough to actually have some sort of meetup. That's my guess.
Well, if you do, you're guaranteed to get laid. So
that's what I'm thinking, man.
She might want some extra stuffing that day.
there you go.
See, I thought, yeah, I'm going to leave it. We're almost done on this one.
I'm gonna leave it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, maybe a quickie in the car.
Jesus. Okay.
Oh God. I live juice stains in there right before I pick up my parents.
Okay, I gotta go.
I gotta go. See you, Jace.
All right. This episode's officially over. Tune in next week, folks, for our turkey trot special, Thanksgiving special. It's gonna be a lot of fun.